There are 3 wedding vows in the traditional series of wedding vows that I know, Sherry, you and I just hate and think should be abolished. They should be, not only should they not be the standard, they should be freaking illegal. Do you want to hear what those 3
Wow,
wedding vows are?
illegal.
Illegal.
I mean, yeah.
In sickness and in health, till death do us part, and thou shalt not wear the same colored shirt on the same day. Actually, I don't care about that third one, but Sherry hates when we dress even close to the same. I want the record to reflect that I had my shirt on first because this is the shirt I wore yesterday and I have not showered yet today. So you, with your clean body and your clean shirt, you're copying me. Although you got dressed while I was still in bed, so you probably didn't know that I was just going to be a slob all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's not smell-o-vision.
good thing. So moving beyond the third wedding vow to those first 2, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. Oh my God, I think they have done more damage in relationships in a general way. Certainly, relationships that have had to deal with addiction. They are just they're like a bludgeon that people or a not a you bludgeon people with the hammer or whatever. The thing that you bludgeon people with. They're just awful. In sickness and in health, oh, we've decided that alcoholism is a disease. I do believe it's a disease. I do believe that addiction
is a mental illness.
Yeah, it's a mental illness. It takes hold of the brain. It changes the way we react. There are chemical changes that take place in our brain. So I don't really want to get in an argument about the whole disease concept, but let's just say that Sherry and I do believe that it's a disease. So then what we alcoholics do is say, oh, I'm sick. See, I have this disease. And you promised in our wedding vows that you would be with me in sickness and in health. So you have to stay with me. Did I ever say that to you?
I don't think you ever said that to me.
Well, I sure thought it.
Because we didn't really discuss alcoholism that much and it being a disease. Like until you were like realizing that you needed to get help and you were working towards that. So I don't think that, thank God, ever got thrown up at me.
Well, I'd like to brag about my awesomeness then.
You actually stifled something?
I stifled something because I certainly thought it. Till death do us part, same kind of category. No freaking way. I mean, yes, I believe in the sanctity of marriage. I'm still married to the first person I ever married. So obviously I believe in the sanctity of marriage. But I think we put too much weight in it. We make it too crucial and too, God's going to strike me down if I get divorced because I said till death do us part. And I just think that's a horrible way to live our lives. And it ties into the idea people assign unconditional love to marriage. And I think that's totally misapplied. Marriage is, by definition, conditional love. You have this list of things, whether you speak it or write it down or not, you have this list of things you're looking for in another person. The other person has this list of things they're looking for in their person. And you figure out whether you've got a match or not. Maybe you do that, nowadays electronically. God, do I sound old. You use an app and you swipe whichever. I don't know if left or right is good. Thank God I've never had to deal with any of that. But you got to swipe together until your swipes match up, and then you're married, I think is how it works. But whether you do that electronically or you do that because you met in a bar like Sherry and I did. We were working in the bar, I wasn't the first. You were working the first day and I was.
We can have another video about that.
Okay. However you meet, your relationship depends on matching up to a degree, right?
Right.
Do you have the things I want and do I have the things you want?
Yeah.
For me, I loved that you were really spunky and you didn't take shit from anybody and you were adorable, all those things. And so we match up and we decide, let's give this a go. That is the definition of conditional love. And so people try to waver
if I started being a doormat and, not speaking up for myself.
Can't ever imagine that.
You probably would have been surprised by the change.
Well, I wouldn't marry someone who's in a coma, and that's the only way you could ever be a doormat. So
anyhow, I think that like, and how do you navigate that too? As people, because people do change, but
hopefully,
yes, people change and evolve in the relationship. but then you're doing it together and you're maturing and growing together. So then, even though there is this list of conditional things, even if there are some small changes and tweaks to like maturity, makes me not just tell somebody to F off in the middle of the grocery store because they've parked their cart, you know. But you can
You
handle
marry
it.
people in the grocery store?
No, tell them to.
Oh, you're
F
just
off.
mature enough not
Yeah,
to.
so now I'm mature enough that I don't.
Because you used to do that.
No, I probably never said that.
I don't know.
But I would have probably banged their cart as I was going
You've
around.
got like a
But anyhow,
Hatfield
but I'm
McCoy's
saying
thing
like
going on with one of our
even
neighbors.
but with both partners maturing and changing, small changes or tweaks that comes along with maturity and aging and experience, you can handle that. It doesn't fall out of that conditional love thing. Because I know some people have said, but I've changed. Well, we all change and evolve, hopefully, and grow. But there are core things in that conditional love, you know,
What
context.
I think you bring up a great point, though. I mean, that's why this "till death do us part." That's why these wedding vows are terrible, because yeah, maybe you change to such a significant extent that you can't cohabitate anymore. That you just don't like each other. That's okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. But when you have an addictive, relationship, it doesn't have to be necessarily a substance that you take externally and to internally. Like you can have an addictive personality for other things, and that makes you change, and you can fall out of category of conditional love because it's a harmful, it's a harmful situation to keep yourself locked in under the guise of in sickness and in health and in death do us part. When I hear that, I think death of maybe one person in the relationship, maybe their soul. Like I know that sounds dramatic, but death of their soul.
Well, let's use a specific example. Our specific example. If one of your conditions for being in love with me is that I'm stable and that I am a good father and that you can trust me and that I tell the truth, those are pretty standard, pretty basic requirements in a relationship. And then because of addiction, for instance, in my case, to alcohol, I start to become volatile and I start to become less trustworthy and I start to contradict myself. So I don't on a conscious level think, I'm going to lie to Sherry today. But I tell you one thing one day and I tell you another thing another day. Or I don't lie as in, no, I'm not drinking alcohol, but I do lie as in, I've just had a couple beers when really I've had a 12 pack. All of these things are breaking the conditions around which you find me attractive. And the idea that you have to stay with me till death do us part and in sickness and in health is complete bullshit. There are places where unconditional love is appropriate, but not in a romantic relationship. Nothing frustrates me more than when we first meet people that are working on their relationship and they start talking about the unconditional love they feel for their partner. You have very much conditioned love. You chose that person for a reason. Those conditions are the reason. Unconditional love is for our children, right? We definitely you feel unconditional love for our kids.
Right.
And a lot of people feel unconditional love for their pets.
Yes.
Ooh, you seem adamant about that.
I think because they are, like with your pets, that is just an unconditional love, or whatever animal that maybe you're not your house pets, but I think people can feel that because it's really easy to do that because you really aren't going to get like emotionally damaged and hurt by
That's
that.
right.
And the children, they're going to emotionally damage you at some point or another. They're going to do something that crushes your spirit.
But you're responsible for them. And
you have created them. You have raised them. You have, whether you've adopted them, they were chosen by you. And you know that all as a parent. You have to pour unconditional love into them.
If you are clinging to your relationship with your human because you vowed to stay together in sickness and in health or until death do us part, or because you think somehow that you have this unconditional love with this partner that you decided to get together with based on certain conditions, I encourage you to rethink that. And if you'd like to hear more of our opinionated ramblings, we hope you'll check out the Untoxicated podcast.
And if you're more of the reading type, please go to soberandunashamed.com.
If you're picking up what we're laying down, You might be ready to find your tribe, and we hope that you'll check out shoutsobriety.org or echoesofrecovery.org. We get what you're going through. You've got this, and we've got you.